missed. Whether on Facebook or YouTube, we're providing 2 more ways that Central Illinois' local news station, WHOW, delivers compelling content for you.
DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air and online 24 hours a day. The latest local news stories are heard every hour on Central Illinois' news station, the Big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW. Stream live at DeWittDailyNews.com. They're also heard every hour on the station that's your easy choice, 95.9 FM WEZC. And to read the latest local news on your electronic device, including tablets, iPhones, and smartphones, go to DeWittDailyNews.com. DeWitt County's #1 source for local news is on the air, online, 24 hours a day.
The Miller Media Group is looking for someone who's local in sales and wants to advance their career. We have an immediate opening for an account executive who understands the importance of small businesses to our local economy. Just bring your sales expertise to us and we'll train you with above average pay along the way. Prove yourself to us and you could be promoted to sales manager for our radio group with a great compensation package. It all starts with an email to sales@randyradio.com. That's sales@randyradio.com. We're an equal opportunity employer.
Today's morning show can be heard by downloading the free WHOW mobile app in your favorite store.
Top of the morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence. In studio with me is Whitney Ortiz. She is the director of the Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau. Good to see you again, Whitney. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Good as always, Seth.
Yeah.
How are you in this holiday week?
Doing good. It's a busy week for us, so I'm just kind of like mentally bracing for craziness. But it comes every year and enjoy all of it. So
last week of the year.
It is. And so with that, Whitney, let's if it's okay with you, let's just kind of take a look back at 2021. You know, December obviously for the Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau and some of the things that happened in Atlanta. What were the highlights?
Well, I finished my yearly report this past week, assuming that we're not going to have any major things happening in the next 3 days. And we hand counted 4,700 tourists just from events we've done, which quite a lot just coming from year one and starting kind of late because of COVID. So we didn't really kick off anything until the end of May. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of people coming to town.
Yeah. What's the Atlanta population, by the way?
About 1,800.
Yeah.
So more than that.
You're bringing in a lot of people to your community. That's great.
It was really cool to see. And getting all the reviews, because we have harvest hosts of people who RV can come stay in Atlanta for free if they're a member. And just reading all their reviews, glowing about how great Atlanta is. I was like, oh, this is so nice to see. And people talking to other people, bringing them to Atlanta. It's wow, this is great. So we got to kind of see what events were working, what events didn't work. So next year we're gonna have some new events coming. Don't get me wrong, but we're gonna do some more of those great events that we did this past year, like the markets and all. We're doing them again next year.
Really make them staples,
bigger and better.
Yeah, absolutely. So, what were the in the year prior? What did you find was successful in bringing almost 5,000 people to your community? What did you think went well?
People love the weekends that we just have activities, and we do 2 days of just tons of different things to do. So for our market weekend in the summer, we had a car cruise in both days. We had a Jeep cruise in the second day. We had some food specials going on in town too. So those coming up from Lincoln or from other communities could enjoy some of these unique specials that don't happen every day in Atlanta. For our 4th of July weekend, which had a huge turnout, we had baseball games going up until the fireworks. So it gave people things to look at, things to do. We had a bunch of walking tours on the 4th of July weekend. We had citywide garage sales. There's just a lot of things that people could come and experience so they can get out and not just be out for 30 minutes, but be out for a couple hours, however long they wanted. And that's where we saw the most success were these events that had multiple things that people could do of all ages.
Sure. Now, was 2021 year one for you? Am I remembering that right?
It was. It wasn't even a full year. I started at the end of January. So it was 11 months for me.
Yeah, definitely. So what did you find? What did you find the transition period to be like? And, as you learn the community and also try to, jump in head first, it sounds like. Talk a little bit about that process for yourself.
What I had in my head was very different than the reality. Because I'm not from Illinois. I'm not from Route 66. So I didn't know the Route 66 community aside from what I found on Facebook. I didn't really know what Logan County was like in rural Illinois, not like Chicago. It's very, very different vibes, but I didn't really know. I had an idea, But knowing the people's very different than having an idea in your head and like what they want. So like some things that I thought would be like a big hit, just from like ballparking. Oh, like people like this sort of stuff. It's like, well, no, because that's not what they wanted. That's not what they're used to. Like they want other things that I didn't realize. So it's kind of figuring out what the people here and what the 66ers and what like the region, what they look for and how I can market to them aside from not just like, whoa, this is what I think's best.
66ers, I like that phrase. That's a good
yeah,
one. So
it's a very different community. And same with like Logan County and DeWitt County. They're very different than McLean County per se, and even Peoria County. So it's kind of figuring out how to mesh all of these things together and not just, hey, this is what I think will work. And that doesn't usually work.
No, but also at the same time, I mean, you've got to stay true to what makes Atlanta special and unique, and that will appeal to people as well.
It's figuring out how to market it towards the different groups. It's not just like one size fits all, because that doesn't always work. So like 66ers have a very unique way of viewing Atlanta. They view it through the eyes of Route 66. That's what they're there for, versus like people from like Logan County, DeWitt County, Peoria. They look more for like the car cruise-ins, the day trips, not necessarily 66, because to them it's most parts just a road. Like,
right.
What they're used to. It's
I took 66 to school every day in high school.
It doesn't have that unique factor because that's just like a daily thing.
Sure.
Different ways of like figuring out how to market these like niches and pull it all together to make a really fun event that all these people can come and participate in and care about.
How long did it take you to kind of figure that out, you think?
Probably till like maybe June or so. Like once we started doing events and I started seeing like what didn't work and what worked, and like marketing strategies, like who was I reaching out to? Who was coming to these things? Not just let me count people, but let's figure out where they're coming from. Why are they coming here? And do they want to know more about future events? Are they interested in coming back, or is it just like a one-time only for them?
Dive into that with me. What'd you find?
Well, for the first few events we had, I did the mistake of just counting. I learned the hard way that didn't tell me any information aside from, hey, this many people came. So we started having forms that people could fill out virtually or in person, where it breaks down where they came from. And then I went by county. So I would group it. I have like a whole spreadsheet of numbers. So I have it, all the counties, how many people, what the percentages look like from certain counties. And then we had a little question on there, like, how did you hear about us? So we can see, hey, like what marketing is actually reaching you. And then do you want to come back? If so, let us know and give us an email, because you'll be part of our Friends of Atlanta email list. And we'll send you emails of things that happen, not spam, but like once a month, we'll send you like, hey, this is what's coming up in Atlanta. If you're coming in town, here's what's going on. We have people like even out in like Springfield, Missouri, who are interested in coming back for these events, which is really cool to see. So that really helped people feel more connected to Atlanta too, and not just like, oh, we're here for an event and then we don't hear back from them.
Exactly. And Whitney Ortiz is the executive director of the Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau, our guest in studio. And with that in mind, at Whitney, that's going to expose people to the other things that you can do in Atlanta. You mentioned many times, the attractions, the library. You've got it's not a museum, is it?
We do.
Yeah,
but
the museum.
Seasonal. A lot of our stuff is seasonal, so it's kind of figuring out what people who come off season can do. Like, for example, they golfed until like November this year. Because of the weather.
I was out on Halloween golfing, so
it's crazy.
Yeah, but no, and so that exposes those folks to the other things that Atlanta has to offer, like your restaurants and the places to eat. And I said it many times through the course of the year. Those folks just have to love you, all the people you're bringing into their establishments.
It's nice that we all kind of work cohesively together. It's not like it's us versus them or whatnot. It's like, hey, here's what I'm doing. Anybody want to join and do a deal? Oh, sure. Yeah. Let's talk about it. How can I help market you too? And then they see that I do market them. So it's a joint effort. Like they give me good stuff I can do. And in return, I let people know, hey, like here's what's available in town. And I haven't met anybody that was like, oh no, like don't include us.
Yeah, sure.
They're like, yeah, let us know please when the next thing's happening.
Yeah. And that's not that I expected any less, but I think that speaks to how well you've come to be accepted in the community as well.
It is very nice because I can walk into any restaurant and they start up the conversation with the managers there. Or if I go like to the gift box and Cassie, the owner, is there, it's like any conversation can get struck up because they know I'm as much of an advocate for them as they are for tourists too.
Sure, absolutely. So, Whitney, as we talk about 2021, just in general, you mentioned you're getting people from all over the place and they're interested in coming back to Atlanta. Just speak to, how much confidence that gives you, and, the things that you did, that they went well, and, people want to come back. How about those things?
It's just really nice, like, because a lot of them, they'll send me, so we did a lot of like private car tours this year too, which that seemed to be a big hit, like reaching out to car groups. And like we had Indiana, we had car groups from Iowa, car groups from Missouri, like reaching out to them and doing like private, like one-on-one, like come to town, we'll close off the street for you, we'll show you around. And almost every single time, like these car groups, not from Illinois, but from outside Illinois, all of them wanted to be included on these email lists. All of them were like, we loved it. And they would send like a very long email just describing how much fun they had. We had a car group from St. Louis, and they had like, we were featured in their newsletter for the quarter, and they sent over a copy, and it was like 2 pages of just how much fun they had, like walking around and hearing the fun facts and taking photos on the 1926 stretch of Route 66. It was just really cool to see. And then I know our mayor gets some notes too about like how much fun people have coming in town, because he usually shares them with me too and said, hey, like look what came in today. And it's just nice. And seeing on Facebook in the different groups too, people talking about the events, and people up in Bloomington who talk about the events. Because I live in Bloomington normal, so it's neat to see people in like the community I live in talking about the city I work in. It's like, oh, hi, that's me. I'm the tourism director.
Yes, sure. That's job security too for you at the same time.
It's just really cool. It's now not just like a Logan County thing, but people are hearing about it. Like I went to a Route 66 conference back in October, and people, they were like up in Joliet, were like, yeah, we've been seeing a lot about Atlanta lately. Like, wow, you're really doing stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's reaching up there. That's really cool to know.
It is really cool. That's really awesome for the community as well. Whitney, as we talk about 2021, anything I didn't get to this morning you want to put out there for us?
So the ISU project that we've been working on since August, we have the materials and they are amazing. So hopefully, I know City Council will talk about it next week, but hopefully we're going to get some things passed and some new exciting graphic material released within the next few months. One of them includes a really cool print ad that I was honestly stunned that it was actually graphically designed and not some amazing photograph. It looks so good. And it includes like everything in Atlanta people would want to see. Like it is the best ad I think I've ever seen for a rural community. It's amazing.
Wow.
Like ISU really outdid themselves with the stuff they provided us. So I'm really excited to see where we go with this in 2021 or in 2022 even, building off of 2021 and seeing like what the city council likes and how they want to start incorporating some of these items in. And then our partnership with ISU was just also super incredible from 2021. Like they came down multiple times to Atlanta to talk and to eat and just to like really get to know the community. So it's nice to know like people up at ISU too know about Atlanta and that they want to keep coming back and telling their friends. And it's really cool to see like how all these partnerships have started unfolding throughout 2021, now going into 2022.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's dive into some more things like that after the break. How do folks learn more about Atlanta, Illinois, and the things you have going on?
Your best stop is to go to our Facebook page because I'm on it every day. It is Visit Atlanta, IL. We also have our new and improved website, atlantaillinois.org, or our Instagram page at Visit Atlanta, IL as well.
All right. Whitney Ortiz, again, Executive Director of the Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau, our guest in studio, and we have more with her on the way on the WHOW Morning Show.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network for this Monday. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn higher, beans double-digit higher, wheat trading steady at this hour. March corn 608.5 up 2 3/4. May corn up 3 1/4, 610.5. December 22 corn 555 up 1 1/2. January beans 1350 1/4 up 18 1/4. March beans up 19, 1359 3/4. November beans 1273 3/4 up 8 3/4. March wheat down half a penny, 814 1/4. May wheat unchanged, 818 1/2. July wheat 808 1/4 up 2 1/2. January bean meal 412.20 up 610. January bean oil up 75 cents, 56.19. In the livestock market, December live cattle up 47 cents, 137.52. January feeders down 82 cents, 162.62. February lean hogs 83.70 up 47 cents. Look at the markets on this Monday. Jim Taylor, RFD Radio Network.
MR Systems Wireless has an immediate opening. They're looking for a full-time internet installer to perform the initial setup of wireless internet and voice over IP services, as well as troubleshoot and repair wireless and phone services for customers. You'll be responsible for the basic installation and maintenance of wireless equipment. No experience necessary. Includes health benefits, mileage reimbursed. Starting pay is $15 an hour. Find out more and apply by going to mrsystemswireless.com, then clicking About, then Employment. Equal opportunity employer.
Your own home without the maintenance. If you're 55 or better, a beautiful Liberty Village villa could be yours. This is Erin, and I invite you to come take a tour of our move-in ready villa. Click the Liberty Village icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
Simply the finest.
DeWittDailyNews.com is the area's leading local news source 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get the latest local news, obituaries, police blotter, weather forecast, and more with no paywall. Head to DeWittDailyNews.com to get the local information you need to know.
Tell Amazon Alexa, play WHOW Radio to hear the morning show and all our programming right there on your Amazon Echo.
Once again, a good morning. Thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Seth Lawrence, and my guest in studio is Whitney Ortiz, director of the Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau, our guest in studio. And Whitney, let's talk about 2022 and the year ahead. What were things that happened in 21 that you're going to bring back in 22?
We 150 million% will have those markets again. So we had a third weekend in third weekend in July market. That was a huge success. Like we saw, I think 1,700 people in those 2 days.
Yeah.
We did a lot of events too with the market, but the market, we had a whole street of just vendors. Kind of like a miniature Litchfield Pickers market type thing.
Yeah.
We're definitely doing that again next year. All of my vendors that were at the holiday market were asking about it. And I was like, no worries. I'll let you know. We're going to do it. Just give me a time to think about the date. And we're definitely going to do a holiday market again, just because of how much fun it was and how many, we had 560 people come out for 2 days. And that's the only event we had going on in Atlanta that day, was just that. Granted, the second day we had our parade and our Christmas tree lighting, but like the first day we had, I think, 400 people alone, which was incredible. And it was just a lot of fun just to kind of get in the holiday spirit.
Right.
And we had our first ever parade, and I heard tons of good comments about it. Obviously, it was year one, so there were some hiccups that happened. But we had, I think, 30 floats and cars who were in this parade. We had a lot of, I haven't seen that many people downtown, maybe ever, just like lining the streets watching this parade. I wasn't on. I wish I could have experienced more of it, but I was, lining up the floats and everything. So I was working, not enjoying it.
Yeah, right.
But just tons of great feedback going on the Facebook pages too about, wow, like I don't ever remember a parade in Atlanta. It was awesome. And we weren't competing with anybody because we had our own day. So it was nice that we got to do our parade. And like the next week was Lincoln's parade, and Peoria's followed after that. So like people could kind of go around and see the different things happening. Since it's a small town, we also have free hot cocoa and cookies. So that was a neat tradition that I was not aware of. And it makes me excited for next year too. So it's like close. Like the other people coming in town, but like you get to talk with them and enjoy like hot chocolate together. So that was really cool. I'm very excited to build off that again next year. Now that I know what it looks like and I've experienced it, kind of seeing, okay, well, how can I make this better too? And same with like the markets we did, same with the car cruises. It's like, how can we take this and then make it better? Because it was great, but there's always room to make it better. More people to come or more things to do. We've looked at some different special events happening during our car cruise ends that we've been exploring some of these options, having some guest speakers come, just some different things that we now can explore because we know people are interested.
Yeah, absolutely. How about the springtime? You probably weren't able to really tap into the springtime last year, being new and trying to kind of find your niche and all those things. How about the springtime in 2022?
We're going to start a little slow with some car cruises, more than likely. And I'm looking at a couple of like smaller events, like maybe an Easter weekend event. Just some things to kind of bring people in town and do something fun, but it's still a little chilly, so not have to stay outside too long.
Right.
It's like 50 degrees, and so it's a little cold. But doing some like fun things that are different. I've been like looking at different cities and what they've been doing, trying to get some ideas. But definitely maybe an event in April, probably in a couple events in May, and then really going into June, July, August, full swing ahead. Probably every weekend's going to be something different.
So always have something on the radar then. or on the
best type of
calendar, I guess.
chaos.
Yes, absolutely. Whitney, how about you mentioned before we went to break the partnership with ISU and kind of redesigning your promotional materials. How much of an impact do you think that will make? You know, again, that kind of depends on what the city council does, but how about that?
I think it will do a ton for tourism because right now I'm not a graphic designer. I'm not even going to pretend to be a graphic designer. So whatever I make is nowhere near as effective as what the professionals make. In the ISU senior class, they do the graphic design class, they do the materials, they did them. And they looking at the picture, I want to be there.
Yeah.
My office looks at what some of the material is, and I see it every day. But just seeing it in a graphic design format, it's like, wow, I want to go there. Like it's beautiful. It looks like a perfect small town main street visual that people who aren't from small town main streets, they want to experience. I wanted to experience that coming from a bigger city. It's like that's what I want. And so like I think the images that they created really invoke these sense of like, wow, let's go.
Yeah.
Like even if it's just a day trip, I want to go there. I want to see this. I want to do that, which I think
maybe
will
they're
speak
going to
wonders.
Bloomington or Springfield and they just swing through real fast.
And then they have some really good like billboard materials too, so we can potentially even start tapping into that market because right now we don't have any billboards, and they created this really beautiful image for us for the billboards that I think will really help people turn off the interstate and be aware, hey, this is here.
Yeah.
And then evoke those same feelings like, wow, I want to see this. It's not far off the interstate. It's 2 miles. Okay, let's go.
Sure. So look forward to those. I'll be curious where those end up, in 2022.
Me too.
Yeah.
I'm very like excited, and there's 2 different design types, and I can't wait to see like which ones the city council prefers, and like if they want to mix a little bit of both. Like I'm just really excited to see where it goes and see us start to implement some of these items that they presented me.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
presented the council.
Sure. Very good. Well, Whitney, I look at the clock. Unfortunately, I've only got about a minute left with you. Anything I missed on looking ahead in 2022 you want to talk about?
Put July on your radar because we are looking at kicking off our first ever Christmas in July. And we're working with the library and with a couple of community organizations in Atlanta to really make this an incredible weekend that I would say nowhere in Illinois does Christmas in July to this level we're going to try to do. And it's going to feel like December 25th, but in July.
With 90 degrees. Yeah, 90 degrees.
So
outside.
you can enjoy it outdoors.
I mean, you could have enjoyed yesterday or Saturday outside. I mean, it was warm.
I mean, I prefer the sunshine in like 85, 90.
Oh, you're not into the dreary, like 55-degree weather?
No, if I can experience Christmas, but with the sunshine, I'd be really happy.
Whitney, it's always good to have you in studio. Where do folks go to learn about all things Atlanta, Illinois?
Check us out on our Facebook and Instagram page. Both handles are visit Atlanta, IL or atlantaillinois.org.
That is Whitney Ortiz, Atlanta, Illinois Tourism Bureau Director. Our guest network news is next.
The Big 1520 WHOW Clinton, 92.3 FM W222 BG Clinton, 106.5 FM W293